Hello, everybody. I am Baphometal, and welcome to tonight's episode of Secular Soapbox. Our guest for tonight is Owen Morgan, best known as the Telltale Atheist from YouTube. Please feel free to interact with us in the chat during the show and give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you like what we do here on Skeptic Haven, please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on all of our great content. Let's get started. Hey.
Hi.
What's up, Stacy?
Not much. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Are you enjoying your free healthcare in Canada? I bet you are.
All the time. Mm-hmm.
Must be nice.
It is. Not to brag. But seeing as you asked, it's wonderful.
Yeah, how are things?
Good. Really good.
Good. You ready to bring in our guest?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Drum roll. All right. What's up, Owen?
Hi, Owen.
Not too much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on
Thanks for
after
coming on.
taking a hiatus from interviews. So we are so
Is
happy
it
to
true
have
we
you.
are number 2? Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I went on the line not too long ago, but you guys are number 1 now. So that's what matters, right?
That is what matters. Yes. I love that. So, we're so looking forward to, I feel, okay, so honestly, I hung out with you all day, but you didn't know that because you don't know me, but I listen to his channel all the time and I listen to past videos. So I feel like I've hung out with Owen all day today. Yeah. So
that's awesome. I'm glad you like my stuff.
I do like your stuff. And when people heard that you were coming on, they were so excited because you have quite the following and people love what you do. So yeah, but I don't know a lot about your deconversion. I know that you tackle Christian nationalism, which is great. And you also like to go after a certain pastor in Tennessee, which
I do.
Also enjoy, which I kind of wanted to touch on that too. But could you just tell us a little bit about your deconversion? Because like I said, I don't know that history. And
yeah, definitely. I can do that. So
to warm up.
Sure. Yeah, I was born into Jehovah's Witnesses. My parents joined the religion when before I was born, and I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
They actually joined the religion before my older brother was born. So I was the last one in line. And so they had been established as Jehovah's Witnesses for like a long time by the time I came along. And, it was very work intensive. They expected a lot of their members. Jehovah's Witnesses do in general as an organization. And it just sucked. I mean, you don't realize the level of commitment that you put into something when you're born into it until you don't have to do that thing anymore. So I placed my first little tract as a Jehovah's Witness when I was like 2 years old. My mom was carrying me, going door to door, and gave me this tract and told me to give it to somebody. Emotional manipulation, of course, getting children to get this person to be more bought into the idea that you're spreading. So I ended up getting baptized as a Jehovah's Witness when I was I think like 14 years old. And that's effectively like a contract that you're signing and with this organization, and it's permanent, and breaking it has serious ramifications. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't legally allowed to jail somebody. They're not legally allowed to fine you or something. So instead of putting you in a physical jail, they put you in a mental prison. And if you break the rules and remove everything and everybody from your life, they intentionally pull the rug out from under you. If you change your mind, you don't think you believe it anymore, you have questions, or you break any kind of rule, they just yank that rug and you fall flat on your face. And that's exactly what happened with me when I was 18 years old on my 18th birthday.
Wow.
I was kind of experiencing life. I had gone to high school. I'd homeschooled for like a few years, and I went back to a public school. And I was just getting to know some people there that, just had friends, went to a high school party, broke some rules. Like I smoked a cigarette and I drank some alcohol. And I had a worldly girlfriend. Yeah, it was bad.
That
it was
would
terrible.
be actually really bad in that high control environment.
Yeah, it was not good. So Jehovah's Witnesses kicked me out on my 18th birthday. My mom kicked me out of the house.
No shit.
And I was just completely on my own from that point on. And it's one thing to be told somebody is homeless or to try to conceptualize being homeless, but when you're standing on a street corner with nowhere to go, it's a completely different experience, knowing that you have no other choice but to you just start going through your mind, like, where do I go? Do I just go to a Walmart and sleep on the bus stop or something? Like, what do I do next? So anyways, after that, I ended up, I knew this girl from high school that I'd been friends with. So I called her and I asked her if I could stay in her house. So I crawled in her window of her bedroom and stayed in her bedroom for 3 weeks. And without her parents knowing or anything, or her grandparents is who she lived with. And it was hard. I had to hide from her entire family. They didn't even know I was there. So I was planning when I was going to use the bathroom, hear her uncle walking down the hall, and I'd run to the bathroom. She'd bring food back, from dinner so that I could eat too. It was crazy. So anyways, I was working at Burger King at the time, and a buddy of mine that worked there let me stay at his house for $150 a month. I stayed in his extra bedroom. The bed was so tiny. You think that twin-sized bed is the smallest. It's not. There's a size smaller than that. But my feet literally hung off the end. But it was a bed, and that's what mattered. So so anyways, I ended up. I still believed it up to that moment. I still believed it. Yeah, I see that. I don't think it was a dog bed. It was like
a toddler bed. That's what
it wasn't a toddler bed. No? It was a normal. I think it's just like a single bed is what it's called, a single or something. So it was really, really short. But anyway.
It was a bed. So like you said.
Tiny little bed. So anyways, that was the experience. And it took me years to finally realize how deeply manipulative and wrong this whole religion was and how the people acted and everything else. So let's see, that happened when I was 18, and I still believed it for 3 years after that. I was 21, 22 years old. Yeah.
So you just got kicked out because of smoking a cigarette and that was enough to just kick you out, but you didn't even fully stop believing.
No, I still believed it. So they have these things called judicial committees. They're 3 elders that get together and they decide if you should stay in or not. And they held my judicial committee, and I said to them, look, I really want to stay in. I really want to be a part of this religion. I want to continue on. And they said no. So that was the end of it. I haven't really had a relationship with my mom since then, 12 years or something like that. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I'm not close to her for other reasons now. I've decided she's a total scumbag, so that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But it was an uphill battle. So 21, 22 years old, I finally found my way out of religion entirely, stopped believing it, and started watching atheist YouTube. So this is around 2014. And if you know anything about that era and atheist YouTube, you know that there was some kind of questionable characters on there that kind of espoused some questionable ideas. I started kind of falling down a little bit of a right-wing rabbit hole, surprisingly, but eventually found my way out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen to anyone, but
that's given the thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. But just given, kind of the way that your channel is, I'm okay. So
totally. So I wouldn't say that I was a right winger, but I had some really backwards views on some things. I was a free speech absolutist. No matter what, the most vile, disgusting, you know, Steven Crowder making fun of like people with Down syndrome should be like monetized. Like that's the kind of free speech absolutist that I was back then.
Wow.
You know, the KKK should be allowed to get full reign on YouTube or whatever. I'm a lot more nuanced now. I feel like there's nuance to be had in this conversation, but at the time, I don't know, it was kind of weird, but that's when I decided to start my channel, because at a certain point I realized that people on YouTube in the atheist sphere were all talking about like SJWs, and it was wokeism of the age, right? And I was kind of sick of hearing it, and I just wanted to talk about religion and Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, and so no one else is doing it, so I started it, and I guess it worked out in the end.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was something that was the catalyst for you to start questioning? Did you just get curious and start looking at YouTube, or was there some sort of linchpin moment?
It's interesting. So at that time, I think I was, let's see. So when I left Jehovah's Witnesses, when I got kicked out, I ended up marrying that girl whose window I crawled in, and we got divorced eventually, but we had a kid together at that time. I was 18 when she was pregnant with my kid, and 19 when she was born, and so I was super young, but a lot of issues came up with my kid throughout the years. Like, my mom really wanted to teach my kid about Jehovah's Witnesses, try to get him baptized and stuff, you know. And
even though she wanted nothing to do with you?
Yes.
But she saw that as an opportunity to...
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, she would not communicate with me. She would communicate with my ex and say, can you tell Owen that blah, blah, blah? She wouldn't talk to me at all, but she would talk to my ex or my kid to try to get us to, buy into this religion. It was crazy. So anyways, at that point, I started to ask questions like, is this really right? Like, this doesn't feel right to me, you know, all the things that she's being taught. And as time went on, I slowly but surely started to realize that, you know, this is nonsense. And there was just one day here. I'm actually going to turn off my light over there. There we go.
It's okay.
I look a little bit better. There was one moment in time. I was talking to my sister, who was also Jehovah's Witness, but was a little more okay with having a relationship with me. I was talking to my sister and my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law says to me, both Jehovah's Witnesses at the time, bear in mind, he says, you know, the founder of Jehovah's Witnesses, Charles Taze Russell, like, had a mansion built in the 30s for himself and deeded it to like Abraham and Isaac and a bunch of Bible characters, and he just like lived in it to keep it warm for them until the apocalypse comes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just one thing in a long line of things that this scumbag did back in the day, right?
Wow.
I don't know why, but that was the moment that I was like, this is all nonsense, like every last bit of it.
Yeah.
And it was like, Jehovah's Witnesses spent years training me to recognize the nonsense that you find in other religions. Like the Catholic Church is full of BS, and, you know, they protect child predators and they have all these bizarre practices that are unbiblical and everything. They spent all this time training me about this. So when that moment happened in my life, when I realized Jehovah's Witnesses were full of it too, I just defaulted to not believing any of it, you know?
Yeah. That's so crazy, because I feel like a lot like that, because I was brought up kind of like fundamentalist or evangelical, whatever you want to call it, Christian, and we were always told Jehovah's Witnesses were obviously wrong and you were a cult. But the more that I talk to people who have come out of Jehovah's Witnesses, there's so many similarities between what you believed and what we believed. I've gotten to know people just through YouTube, and by doing this and doing interviews, I'm like, we're not that different. We have so many similarities when it comes to just even what you believed about the supernatural, and the same. like, I think that's even maybe where we got a lot of our beliefs from, or we just shared a lot of the same. So.
Oh yeah. Interestingly enough, there's have you guys heard the history of like Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses?
I
Any of
have
that?
done a deep dive in it, but it's been a while. So go
Okay.
ahead and
Well,
share what you want to
Yeah,
share.
maybe the audience is unaware of
Tell
this.
us, because I don't know.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, I'll lay it on you guys. So there's this movement called Millerism. They were called the Millerites
I've
back
heard of
in
the
the
Millerites, but
mid 1800s. So I think
Okay.
1843 they made this end of days prediction about how, you know, the apocalypse is going to come. I think they had a day, even like October 1st or something, 1843. And you know, the day comes and goes and nothing happens. So they're like, you know what? We had the math right. We just forgot that there's like no year zero in the middle.
that's
Because
right.
they had all this complex Bible math that they used to calculate, and, you know, a verse from the book of Daniel, one from Revelation and Numbers, and it was just like complete garbage. Anyway, so they were like, so there's no year zero. It went from the year 1 BCE to the year 1 CE. So we're just going to move the year up. It's not 1843, it's 1844. When that fell apart, the entire Millerite movement disintegrated into 3 factions. There's the group that believed that they had the math right and something really did happen.
Okay.
The group that thought that they were completely wrong about everything. And then the group that thought that they had the math right, but the variables were wrong. They just need to rework the variables and recalculate. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses were in that last group, the group that thought they had the variables wrong, but the math right. And middle, Charles Taze Russell, the founder, used that same Millerite math to calculate that 1914 is when Jesus came back. And I mean, that's not even where he started. He started in 1874, and then that one fell apart.
Yeah.
And he moved to, like, I don't know, 1878 and 1913, 1914. He kept moving it. So anyways, the point is that evangelical and fundamentalist religions all have very similar roots, especially Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses. They have very close ties to each other, just those groups alone. But,
yeah, definitely.
Why do you think people continue to believe it, even though they can see clearly that the year keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and no Jesus?
Well, that's an interesting question. There's there's a book called wait a minute. It's by Leon Festinger. It's called When Prophecy Fails. That's it. So Leon Festinger wrote this book called When Prophecy Fails, and it was about this group called the Seekers, and they believed that they were in communication with aliens that were on their way to Earth, and they were telling them when they were going to be here, there's going to be a big flood and blah, blah, blah. And naturally, he followed them and studied their group for like 4 years or something and wrote this whole book about it. That was the book and the writer who came up with the term cognitive dissonance. That's where the term was introduced.
Gotcha.
And the idea behind cognitive dissonance is that people have to rationalize it in some way when something goes wrong. And commonly, when reality does not match up with their beliefs, they believe it even stronger than before. So all these Trumpist pastors who believed that God was going to reinstate him in 2020, when that fell flat, they believed it even more. There were, I don't remember now.
Did.
You guys gotta read this book sometime, because he details it better than I possibly could.
Okay.
There are 4 like qualities about cognitive dissonance that you look for, and one of those things that pushes this belief even harder is people who are experiencing cognitive dissonance must reinforce their beliefs by evangelizing to others. They must spread these ideas, because cognitive dissonance is like a stress in your mind that won't go away, like an anxiety that can only be alleviated by spreading it to other people and believing harder, basically.
Yeah.
That's why they double down, to answer your question. It was a little bit long-winded.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's like fascinating to me.
It is totally. You should read that book. It was written in 1954, I think, but it's so good.
Okay. And
I don't know how to read.
Oh, there's a problem.
Yeah. It's called Seeker?
It's called When Prophecy Fails.
Oh, okay.
And
sorry.
the group was about the seekers.
Oh, about the seekers. Okay. When Prophecy Fails. Okay. I think I have heard about that book, but definitely.
Really there are some sects, some Christian sects out there that will gaslight the members and blame it on them because they don't believe hard enough or they don't give enough money. I've seen that one. It's like, you don't give enough money, so Jesus won't be coming until you give enough money. Isn't that crazy?
It is, yeah. The Millerites even told their people to like sell all their stuff and give it to the church so they could spread the word better. It's just nuts, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the NAR, the New Apostolic Reformation, which is kind of like the Christian nationalists. Like they want to bring heaven to earth. They think that Jesus won't return until they have brought heaven to earth.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not necessarily like giving, but they're trying to take over, which is Christian nationalism in every facet of society. And I attended a church that they talked about your spheres of influence and the 7 spheres. And I didn't know that that's what that was. And they talked about like your work and your school and your job, and work and job are the same thing. But
sounds just like Seven Mountains Dominionism, right? It's just another word for it.
Exactly. They just called it your 7 spheres of influence. And that was a Pentecostal church. And heavily.
I'm Googling that right now because I don't know what you're talking about.
So. Oh, okay. Hey, a lot of the audience probably doesn't know either. So let me just explain.
Go for it. Please do, because you are an expert in.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. You're absolutely an expert in more stuff than me. So you pitch in and give me information if I mess something up. Okay. So Seven Mountains Dominionists believe that Christians have to take over the political system, and as you said, if they don't do this, Jesus won't be able to come back, right? They have to do this to bring Jesus back. And these 7 mountains are like 7 areas of society in which the 7 areas of society that they must take over. It's what is it? The economy and the military and the family and the church and government. Yeah. So anyways, entertainment. Media and stuff. Yeah. So anyways, there are 7 of the areas of society, and the idea is they don't have to get their president elected or whatever that'll do their things. They don't have to proselytize or evangelize to everybody on planet Earth. They just have to get their people at the very top of these areas of society, and they can impose Christian nationalism on everybody else, whether they like it or not. And boom, Jesus comes back. So it's a disturbing idea.
I don't see that ever happening in this country.
Yeah.
I see them trying without a doubt. Now, are they going to succeed? I don't think they're going to succeed. I think honestly, right now, a lot of people are like really down about where the political system is in the US right now, but I don't think they're going to, I mean, just look at how badly the elections go for everybody who endorses this idea or these extremist positions. It doesn't go very well for them. So I think they're kind of ruining their opportunities and turning away independent voters. So that's some good news. We have the numbers. They've got a lot of power in the US, more than they should have right now, Christian nationalists, but it's an uphill battle that they have, and I really think that we're going to win at the end of it. So they're going to do some damage on the way out, though. Sorry.
How would you define Christian nationalism? What is your definition?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because it varies. I think the actual definition of Christian nationalism is, I guess I'd say if somebody is a Christian nationalist, then they intend to and have an interest in taking over the state, taking over the government, and making it into a Christian government that is exclusively designed for and only works for Christians. There are varying degrees of that. Do they want to deport non-Christians, Muslims, atheists, or whoever else? Do they want to execute them? Some do. I mean, it just kind of depends on who you're talking to. But
yeah,
I think the idea is just taking over the government for the Christian cause generally. And there are a disturbing number of people out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you about your videos where you talk about Greg Locke.
Okay.
Have you had any kind of have you heard from him about any of them or any pushback?
I've
from
not,
him?
although
No?
he did respond to me on Twitter not too long ago.
Oh,
and
okay.
somebody asked me if he has ever openly called for the death of the LGBT community. And it's an interesting question. I think generally Greg Locke tends to avoid openly calling for the deaths of people.
Right.
He does it in a more veiled way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he dog whistles a lot and stuff like that. So I said, I don't think he's ever openly called for the deaths, but he certainly believes in that. And he came in and said, this is a flat out lie. I've never called for the deaths of people. And I said, did you even read the tweet thread? Of course he didn't. So, anyway.
Of course he did.
Now,
Yeah.
I do get the occasional, Greg Locke supporter, especially on TikTok. Oh my God. There are so many Greg Locke supporters on TikTok, surprisingly, who are like in the comments, like yelling, oh, I love Greg Locke. He's the best. It's crazy. Like, who's actually out there like watching them for fun? Aside from me, I guess.
Yeah. Do you ever get exhausted watching them, or are you just like, well, okay, what are they saying now?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Do I ever like get burned out on it? Not really. No. I mean, sometimes it's kind of stressful to realize that there are so many people out there that are unglued from reality. And it's like, how do you deal with something like this? Yeah, they do. Exactly. Which is why you should be voting too, right? But no, I think it's I don't know. I'm more fascinated in the psychology of it than anything. I'm not really like down about it, or I don't think I ever feel down about it, because
that's good.
It's like there's a fire in me, like I want to fix this now, some people get down by it, and if that happens, step away. You got to step away, but not me. I'm always interested.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube for 7 years now, and I'm still not burned out. I love doing YouTube and talking about this stuff and everything.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
You have a few channels too, and I'm subscribed to them all because I love when you did the Telltale reads and you read the book that Greg Locke did. I listened to every chapter because I mean, I didn't have to buy it, and I loved your commentary, and so
absolutely.
I hope you do more of those.
Yeah. I'm reading Kenneth Copeland's right now.
Okay,
I'm not really into Kenneth Copeland's though. I feel like it was written in 1974, and it's like so dry, and it was obviously just a pure money grab. It's like the same thing repeated over and over and over again.
Right.
So I will always finish a book that I start. I will make it through to the end, but I'm thinking about maybe Greg Locke, another one of Greg Locke's next time, because he's
one.
Oh, he's got like 7 books. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. But that was kind of entertaining. I thought his book was
very entertaining because he's not a very good writer,
right?
At all.
He writes like he speaks. He just blurts stuff out, repeats himself. Crazy.
And I loved how he would even write his made up words that he says.
Yes.
And just hearing you say them, and you're like, what does that even mean? I was like, oh, it was so good.
Oh, he's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous human being.
He really, really is. And like you said, how you used to, kind of listen to some things and believe like some right-wing things that you were like, okay, why did I do that? I used to listen to Greg Locke when he would just put out, well, not like his sermons, but he would do like Facebook shorts. Like he would just post a little video of him in the car like years ago. And he came across my Facebook feed, and I'm talking years ago. And so he would just be ranting about something. And I think I enjoyed his passion because I'm a passionate person, and I enjoy that from people.
Yeah. You were still religious, I assume.
I was still religious, yes. But now I'm like, oh my God, why did I ever
I know.
But I stopped actually even listening to anything he said when I was still religious, because I started seeing this guy's a kook.
Oh yeah.
So I did wake up to that before
At least
I
you
left
woke up. You know,
Christianity.
there's some people in there still.
Yeah,
Yep.
no. This was definitely, I was still a Christian, and I was like, he's crazy. And
How long ago was that? When did you leave?
2 years ago.
Oh wow,
So,
young. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but I left and do not look back. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's so nice to
yeah.
be on the outside, not have to like, you know, do anything for the church anymore. Like you don't have to show up every week. You don't have to like, in my case,
No.
go door knocking and read their stupid little magazines. Now I read their magazines because I enjoy it and I laugh at it, not
Right.
because I have to.
I still
Yeah.
have one of the pamphlets that was
You
mailed
showed
to me.
me. You showed me. Yes.
During COVID, I was getting letters from Jehovah's, because that's what they were doing during the pandemic, I'm assuming. And it was like, "Hi, I am Josie, and I'm your neighbor."
Right.
And I'm like, "No, you're not. Who are you?"
Oh my God.
And so I still keep it's green because of the green screen. But
Right.
what is the key to a happy family?
I should. You know what? I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna review that tomorrow on my channel and release that.
And it has like random ass verses. And oh my God, it's terrible.
It's ridiculous. Yes.
Yeah.
They are terrible.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say my ex, like my kid's mom, just got a letter from them in the mail like today or yesterday.
Oh.
And it was from somebody I knew because she still lives in West Virginia. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm actually writing that down because I'm going to hit that. Talk about the tract. Okay. They're called tracts, not pamphlets.
Right.
I call them tracts. And I got so mad when people called them pamphlets because they just don't know anything about us.
I got
like TRACT tract.
Yep.
Okay.
I got one at Easter inviting me.
To the memorial. Yeah.
To the memorial. Yeah. But I was going to ask you, because I know you do a lot of reviews on the Caleb and Sophia for the children. So, and I've watched a few of those because I do find it fascinating. I think they put a lot of production value into their kids.
Totally. They do.
Yeah. So.
Not just like Caleb and Sophia either. If the audience is unfamiliar, Caleb and Sophia is this little kids show for kids between the ages of say 4 and 10 maybe, or 12. I don't know. And it's like Disney, like Pixar quality, like animation. It's beautiful animation.
It's really good.
Pure unadulterated propaganda. And that's not even the only kids animation or kids like propaganda that they release. They put all kinds of stuff out. Like they have booklets that kids can draw, like art books and cutout books that they cut out little stuff for service and all kinds of stuff. It's absolutely crazy.
Cut out Jesus?
Yeah, well, it's it's like you're supposed to cut out like a briefcase, I think, and then you fold it into a shape and you're getting ready for service. And
oh my gosh.
Priming.
Yep. Yeah, getting them ready as early as humanly possible. Like when I was that age, they didn't have Caleb and Sophia or anything, but I was expected to read their Watchtower and read their book that I was studying for that week and underline it and prepare answers for each question. I had to do all of it. There's so much work that goes into being a Jehovah's Witness. You have something to do every single day for hours at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
So when did you first celebrate your birthday?
Actually, interestingly enough, I didn't celebrate my birthday until recently because
really?
Yeah, because I still believed it when I left, and I didn't really want to celebrate my birthday, So I was like 22 maybe or 21 when I left and finally woke up to the fact that they're full of it. And then I moved to Florida away from any family for a couple of years. And I came back when I was like 26, 27. And I think that's roughly when I started celebrating my birthday for the first time. So not even that long ago, surprisingly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Got like, pineapple upside down cake.
I love that.
Yeah. Stuff's pretty amazing, right?
Huh. Yeah. So. I just remember kids in school that were Jehovah's Witness and having to go sit out in the hallway for any kind of like holiday or birthday celebrations.
I did that, yeah, for
Yeah.
Valentine's
Messed up,
Day.
man.
I felt
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, people handing out Valentines to each
Mhm.
other and you can't get any because you're Jehovah's Witness. It sucks for real.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
not a fun experience for kids. It's really sad.
Yeah. Wow.
But anyways, yeah, it was interesting growing up as a Jehovah's Witness and like leaving it behind and looking at their justifications for a lot of this stuff now is absolutely absurd. Like their justification for not celebrating birthdays. You guys ever heard this before?
So you can totally correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
My understanding is it's because there's no birthdays celebrated in the Bible.
Right. Yeah, there are a few reasons. That's one of them.
Okay.
There are 3, I think, events in the Bible where birthdays are celebrated in their own negative. Like somebody loses a head at all these, like John the Baptist, you know, that woman wanted his head on a plate for whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a negative experience. But if you really like follow that logic to its eventual end, you'll realize that the Bible speaks negatively about all kinds of things, like owning dogs. You know, anytime a dog is mentioned in the Bible, it's negative. The dog bit somebody or something like that.
So do they
but they're not like
dogs?
Processing. Oh no, they're fine with dogs. That's okay. There's a hang up in their belief system. They're not logically consistent. They have no problem.
What about fig trees?
They're fine with fig trees and figs. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They shun birthdays, but they're fine with everything else. Their logic falls to pieces instantly. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's just no logic involved, really. It's ultimately about control, in my opinion. I mean, that's what differentiates cults from normal religions is the level of control that goes into it, you know? Like Scientology will go to disturbing lengths to control the members, right? Lengths that like the Methodist church that I went to when I left did not go to. You know, people just don't care. I've never been to a birthday party where a person was beheaded. Well, you're not going to the right birthday party.
Where have you been, Steve?
Right?
God, you're missing out.
I know. So,
wow.
anyways, yeah. So, Methodist church that I went to just didn't have the same level of control or extremism that Jehovah's Witnesses or Scientology have. And you know, that's what differentiates cults from religions is the level of control. And it seems to me that you can find examples in pretty much every cult that I've ever covered of them simply controlling for control's sake, just because they enjoy it. You know, what is a group of people checking out at the order of the leader, if not the leader exercising the ultimate level of control over its members? You know? So it seems like that's kind of the common denominator behind every cult is a level of control. And for what it's worth, that's the common denominator behind abusive relationships too. A cult is fundamentally just an abusive relationship between the membership and the leadership. So
exactly. Yeah. And when we left, like I tell this story a lot whenever we have guests, so our audience knows it, but you don't know it.
Right. I haven't heard it.
Yeah. So we left a Christian church. I know people always think that it's just like cults like Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses, but we left a Christian church and they excommunicated us and they publicly called us out for 7 months from the pulpit.
Wow.
And that's a Christian church.
That's crazy.
So it happens in high control Christian churches too.
Oh, totally.
And I know that was a cult, and I know that it was for control because I always say they were doing it for the members there, not for us, not to bring us back like they say. It was to keep all of them in line to not do what we were doing.
Right,
so,
afraid, keep them
exactly, to be like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to question or step out of line because then they're going to bring us up for 7 months.
Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses do the exact same thing. You know, like I said before, they pull the rug out from under you and they set you up to fail intentionally. They remove you from everybody in your life. You know, a lot of the time, because of how the organization is structured and the congregations, Jehovah's Witnesses commonly work together in the same job, or there's usually 1 or 2 people in the congregation that own these like companies, like window washing companies or IT companies or something.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's one more level, one more thing they can yank from you, fire you from your job, take you away from your kids. Yeah, that's how it works. It's just pulling the rug out from under you so that everybody around you sees and knows if they choose to leave, this is what happens to you next.
You got a super sticker from Lisette Martinez. How you doing, Lisette?
Yeah.
My favorite Chilean/Canadian.
Oh, nice.
Well, she's the only Chilean Canadian I know, but she's still my favorite Chilean/Canadian.
Oh, okay, good. Glad you added that disclaimer.
Stacy is the best.
Aw, it's because I said to give her a wrench.
Thanks for coming, Mel.
In the face.
That's so sweet. Well, okay.
So I have a question. So you were talking about living and kind of still believing. How was that deconstruction process for you? Was it slow? Was it fast? Was it more like
man,
you pulled the Jenga piece and then just crumbled? Or
well, it took forever for me to finally get to the point where I was willing to question it. Like when I finally got to the point where I started realizing that Jehovah's Witnesses were full of it, it all crumbled instantly around me, which was fantastic. But leading up to that point, I was doing some really destructive stuff in the name of the religion. Like, for example, I was wary about my ex, like, getting a blood transfusion during pregnancy or during, like, the childbirth or something. Why? No reason.
Wow.
There was
just
no
because you were
reason
told.
for this. Yes. I wasn't even a member anymore. Why was I still like, did I think like her immortal soul was in danger? What was the logic there? I don't even know. And
well, you were programmed, you know.
It's crazy. I carried around this little like no blood medical directive in my wallet since I was like 2 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, if I'd gotten in a car accident or something, I would not be sitting here. It's so absurdly dangerous. So yeah, a lot of those little things stuck with me to the very end. Like things that you wouldn't even think would stick with you. And when you are born into a high control religion like that, it's like the whole goal is to kind of reform your personality into what they want it to be, kind of create clones of each other. And I never had an authentic personality of my own. It was formed by Jehovah's Witnesses from the start. So throwing off all of these extra beliefs and ideals and all this other stuff built on top of my personality was an uphill battle. But and interestingly enough, I feel like there are some virtuous things about Jehovah's Witnesses, things that I can appreciate about the personality that they programmed in. And I feel like they use some of those virtuous values and some of the legitimately true things that they talk about to bolster their credibility in other areas. Like, for example, just some of the beliefs that they get correct. Like the Trinity is not actually biblical. Like Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit were not actually Jesus didn't believe he was God. Or the teaching of hellfire, they're correct about that too. Like hellfire is not in the Bible, and they use those things that they're correct about to build on their credibility and make people, just go search it up, go look for it. And you go home and you look it up, like it's a Trinity real, and you come to find at the end of the rainbow, sure enough, it's not true. Right. So they use these things to kind of build credibility in other areas. And for that reason, it was really difficult to tell like which personality traits. I mean, my entire personality is formed out by Jehovah's Witnesses. So which traits that I have are the good ones that are worth keeping and which ones were destructive, Right. And I think like they have a strict adherence to pacifism. They don't believe in fighting or war or anything under any circumstances, pretty much. And I kind of adopted that and kept that personality trait.
Right.
Again, like I guess there could be some circumstances in which fighting or battle or war could be justified morally, but yeah, it's just not for me. So yeah, I don't know. It's just been kind of hard to differentiate between good personality traits and bad ones when I was taught that they were all good from the start. You know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, must be.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. It's a lot of work. I haven't been in that situation myself, but I imagine it's a lot of work to find yourself, find your own identity, and basically start from scratch, right? You're building your own personality, your own identity. How was that for you? It
was not easy, especially because a lot of that identity formation stuff happens largely when you're very young. Like it's a lot of it is basically unchangeable at a certain point. Like, 5 years old, when you're learning language and stuff like that, these values and ideals are kind of built into you from a young age. But I do find it interesting that I grew up 100% apolitical. I had zero politics in my entire life ever from birth because it was forbidden.
Yeah, that I did know.
Coming out of the religion, I have 3 siblings, so there are 4 of us, right? 2 of us lean left, 2 of us lean right. I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Although my brother is kind of going down a hard right rabbit hole at the moment, unfortunately. But,
does he watch your channel, or is that forbidden?
He was really, really involved in my channel for a while. He helped me mod my Discord and stuff. And we had some disagreements, he and I did, on like taxes. Maybe we should tax people more. I thought he said they should tax them less. And some social issues, but ultimately he was okay with all of the ideals that I espoused. And there came a time where he just got more and more extreme and went downhill further and further. And now he's just like a right-wing nutcase, unfortunately, last I heard.
Damn.
It's dragging some people in, I'm telling you. It almost got its hooks in me,
Yeah. So are any of your siblings like completely out of Jehovah's Witness, or are you the only one?
Well, so I had the 4 of us, my 3 siblings, and then my 2 parents were in it, and then my aunt and my 2 cousins were in it originally. Now my brother, one of my brothers, left before me, and I shunned him when I was like a teenager. It sucks looking back now. It wasn't my fault, so I don't feel too bad about it, but I have told him I'm sorry for that. Well,
wow.
He left, and then he tried to come back when I was in it, and they wouldn't let him back in, basically. So
oh my gosh.
It took him like 2 years to finally just stop trying. So anyway, I left. I was the second one in the family out, and then everybody fell like dominoes after that. Every single person left. My sister, my other brother, my dad left. My mom is the last one.
Wow.
Even my aunt and my 2 cousins are out now. So
no way.
Yeah, so that's fantastic news.
That is.
Yeah. My mom is kind of off on her own weird little island now. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What a story.
I know. I thank you for sharing so much about your background and everything. So you have a lot of people who follow your channel, and you must get a lot of messages from people who are leaving religion.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. So it's been challenging to kind of filter it out because there are so many messages all the time. I've been I created this this account for like email lists and stuff on my website. People sign up for my email list, and there's like a contact me form on the website. And I've kind of been filtering messages through this contact form on my website. So that's been working out, but I get like hundreds a day practically. It's a lot. And I do get a lot of really positive messages about people trying to make their way out of the religion and stuff.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people who, naturally when you leave the religion, you fall on your face. Like I said, that's intentional. And I've met so many people who had that rug pulled out from under them and managed to build their life up despite that. Go to college and get a degree and get a job working and trying to help other people that were in their situation in some way. There's a I think she's a PhD, a professor who's working at LMHC right now. I was talking to, is an ex-Jehovah's Witness and is doing like research studies on manipulation and mind control and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every cog in the machine that comes out of this organization is finding some way to contribute, even if that method of contributing as an ex-Jehovah's Witness or an ex-religious person is just spreading the message and talking to other people about it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of encouraging to see and hear all the messages from people talking about their exit experience, not just about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So speaking of support, really, I'll just want to give a shout out to Recovering from Religion.
Yeah.
Fantastic organization, 501c3 nonprofit. They're staffed with very well-trained volunteers. So if you are deconstructing or just starting to doubt your faith, you can call that number right there. Look at that. It's moving. 184 I doubt it is their phone number. We're not getting paid for this, just saying. I'm just giving them a shout out because we love Dr. Daryl Ray and Gail Jordan. Recoveringfromreligion.org. They have support groups also, like ex-Jehovah's, ex-Mormons, ex-Muslims, ex-Christians that you can, join, but you can only access that by going through the website and hitting the little chat bot. Pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's awesome, actually. Daryl Ray. I got to meet him at this year's American Atheist. Did
it's
you see him?
Freaking awesome. Yeah. I love him.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So funny. He was the first guest on the Burning Eden podcast when we started video because we were all audio for over a year or plus. But our first guest was Dr. Daryl Ray. It was awesome.
That is awesome.
Amazing.
It hits home for me because I was addicted to drugs for this period of time between like getting kicked out 18 to finally escaping the belief system and everything. I was, I started out with smoking weed. It was like, I don't have a problem with weed, but it kind of just escalated from there. It started out with weed, and then I went into like harder and harder and harder drugs until I just could not, get myself clean anymore. And so his talk at American Atheist, Daryl Ray's talk about substance abuse and stuff it really hit home. I actually got a degree in substance abuse counseling after leaving religion. Yeah, a psychology degree. So we talked about all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
because I know that like higher education is not encouraged in
super
witness.
banned.
So
yeah, absolutely.
That's incredible. Good for you.
Not banned exactly, but very, very discouraged. Yeah,
very discouraged. We do have a couple of questions here that I just wanted to highlight. So Lizette asked, were you able to reestablish a relationship with the family members you shunned while you were in the religion once you left? So
good question. Yeah, I did shun my brother for a short time. Again, he understood.
Yeah.
And I did reestablish a relationship with all of them at one point. But now I don't really have a relationship with any except for my sister because they're going down like a right-wing pipeline, in my opinion. Right. And that's just how it goes,
That's hard.
Yep. Gets your hooks in you and that's it. So I did reestablish the relationship. I didn't talk to my dad for different reasons. I have a whole video about it on my channel. He died last year. And that's around the time that I talked about it. But anyway. Yeah. So I did reestablish relationships with them.
Okay. This was regarding when we were talking about Telltale reads, and you said Kenneth Copeland's book. So is 1974 Copeland's book more repetitive than that? You go for it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not going to even attempt. There's a joke between
Apartheid.
Yes, there we go. So, Trump supporter book you read a while ago.
Yeah, that's a good question. Copeland, there were like weird errors in Copeland's book that could have easily been fixed if he had an editor. And I feel like every single like subtitle in that book was just the exact same thing repeated over and over and over again. But the apartheid guy, I think he is just like mentally ill. And you can see it manifesting in his writing style and the things that he says. So more repetitive, I would say, in different ways. Yeah. Copeland's book is still complete garbage, but fascinating.
I'm sorry.
I'm so glad that I got to like understand his belief system at least.
Yeah, when I was 5 years old, we went to one of his conferences or whatever when I was little. So I remember going when my brother was a baby. I was 5, and I remember being in the aisle and. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
You know, people believe him to be like a prophet, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got to meet a prophet. That's a pretty big deal.
I know.
Ooh.
Huge deal.
Maybe some of his prophetness rubbed off on you. You never know.
Absolutely.
Ew.
Let's not go there. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just like, wait, ew, he's so gross. That video of him with the demons on the.
Yeah.
On the,
I don't know what's up with his eyes either. There's something not
so
quite
creepy.
there, right?
Like if there was a devil, I would say that is
same. What is right? This? So weird.
Oh, yeah, he's creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. Do JW suffer from substance abuse?
It's a good question. If you ever abuse a substance as a Jehovah's Witness, you are kicked out instantly. There are no questions about it. Their recovery solution, their recovery program is disfellowship them until they fix it, and then they can come back. But that being said, they drink a lot, and they take a lot of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine. It's like a real problem. Yeah. It's a huge problem in the congregations because they're under so much stress. They don't have any money, so they've always got money problems because higher education's banned, and they're giving it to the organization.
Oh, that's so sad, man.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And what else do? You can't watch normal TV shows. You can't listen to normal music. You can't do anything. So what is there to do but drink, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
That is very sad. I did know that alcohol is okay because there was drinking at the wedding in the Bible.
Yeah.
So that was why it's allowed. Is that correct?
Yes. Jesus drank and stuff. Although drinking too much is a bad thing. You're not allowed to get drunk. You're allowed to get a little tipsy and you're good.
Yeah.
They get drunk off their ass, though.
Of course they do. It's a coping mechanism. That's just horrible.
Yep.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Mike says, no classic rock. I guess not, Mike.
Oh my god.
What if it's Christian rock and they listen to Christian rock?
Jehovah's Witnesses? No, that's Christendom. That's evil. You're not only Kingdom Melodies and
Melodies.
Yeah, that's what they call
them. Can you sing us a song?
I can, but I'm not going to. I've been told by some Jehovah's Witness couples, or I heard story, that they would play Kingdom Melodies, Jehovah's Witnesses music while they, did stuff.
Stop.
No, I'm not joking, because they wanted to involve Jehovah in the equation.
No!
This is like a holy thing they're doing. I'm not joking. For real.
That's like The Handmaid's Tale. Have you watched that when they Bible
This is so weird.
It is.
That is so
Welcome
bizarre.
to Jehovah's Witness world.
Well, he's always watching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
what a perv.
Pervert. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have a question here. Yes, Owen does have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, where can we find you?
It's kind of the biggest.
Well, it's, not to toot my own horn. Toot, toot, baby. No,
we will toot it.
Yes. Yeah. It's just Owen Morgan, Telltale.
Yeah. But you also have like 3 other channels on top of that.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have my Fireside Chat channel where I talk more about politics. And I have my Unfiltered channel where I do like long form game play while I review old movies and stuff. And then I have Reads where I read books.
Yeah. I have to tell you, when you are playing the games and I have you on, my kids come in because I have 3 boys, 11, 8, and then I have a 4-year-old. But my 11 and 8-year-old come in and they're like, "What? You're watching a gamer, Mommy?"
Oh, that's funny.
They're so confused because they did watch gamers on YouTube until we told them, okay, no more watching gamers.
Right.
But they just think I'm the coolest mom ever because I'm watching a gamer. I'm like, well,
That's funny.
actually, kind of. Yeah. So they watch
That's
you.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
I
you
could
play
watch
video
the
games
game.
too, and you do
Yeah, a
the
little
thing?
bit. Like on my
Okay.
unfiltered channel, I'll play
Yeah.
games while I review
Okay.
like Steven Crowder or God's Not Dead.
Yeah,
or
he was
whatever.
playing Pokemon this morning while he was
I
reviewing
was.
Stephen
Old
Crowder.
school Pokemon. Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
original.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
don't get
it's
the
pretty
appeal
cool.
though. I never understood it of watching someone
Right.
play video games. I still don't
Really?
get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I
kids are addicted.
Yeah,
I-
I've been doing that since I was like 8, watching my brother play StarCraft and stuff. It's old
Yeah,
school. Because there's one computer and he has it and he's not going to give it to you. So what else is there to do? Just sit there and watch him, right?
Yep.
I get horrible motion sickness, so I cannot watch video games. It just
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try some Dramamine. Maybe that helped.
There you go.
Yeah.
We call
Okay.
it Gravol here in Canada.
Right?
Yeah.
Call it what?
Gravol.
Never heard of it.
It's Dramamine. So when we go to
Ask
the
her what they
States-
call their currency.
What do they call it?
money.
Wasn't it like loonies and toonies?
Oh
and...
yeah, our coins. We have loonies. Loonies are dollars. And toonies are. Do you
Never
not know
heard
that?
that? No.
Really?
I had
so
no idea.
we have a $1 coin and we call it a loonie because there's a loon on it. And then we have a $2 coin and it's called a toonie because it's a $2 coin.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, have me on your channel. I'll give you a whole Canadian.
Yeah, I may do that. I always say if I have somebody or if I'm on someone's channel, then they have an invite to my channel, but that's not always implicit. So
Okay,
not always. But we got to arrange it. We'll figure it out.
let's do that because I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah, this was so fun, Owen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
totally,
his links are in the description. If you scroll down, you will see his website and his YouTube as well. In case you
Oh, and
want
you're
to
also
follow
on
him.
Twitch. You're also on Twitch.
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I stream to Twitch and to YouTube simultaneously. So
Yeah.
same content on both, basically, if you want to. Either one.
I
Very
was the one who
nice.
said the other day, I don't know if you remember, but I said I had to download Twitch just to come on.
I did. I
But
saw
that
that.
was
Was
me.
that you? That's
That
funny.
was me. I was like, I had to download Twitch just to be here. So yeah.
Yeah, Twitch is cool. And they have fewer copyright problems. So if there's something that someone's trying to copyright troll me, I just do it on Twitch instead.
And we got a super chat. Thank
We
you, Dan.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I missed that one.
No, it just came on.
Oh, thanks. Here is a loony and a no, you'd have to do that's a loony and two toonies.
No, that would be $3, Dan.
And toonie is TOONIE.
Like the Looney Tunes.
That is so funny. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Dad. You're so sweet. Yeah, Toonies came out in 1996 and Loonies came out in 1987. So yeah.
It's hilarious. Sorry.
I know. I love it. Because you don't think you have a lot of money, then you look in your change and you're like, oh wow, I have like $20 in here. That happened the other day.
Oh, because they're like $2 coins, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for the super chat. Okay. Well, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I was glad
Thank
to be
you
on.
so much.
Yeah, of course.
Amazing. So Beth, where can we find you?
You can find me in this garbage application called TikTok. If you happen to be there, look me up, Baphometal. That's 666. But don't download it if you don't have it. It's a terrible choice. And I'm also the co-host of the Burning Eden podcast. We do comedy, satire, interviews, and just shenanigans. It's fun. It's here on YouTube as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, my link is in the description.
Awesome. And you can find me here on Wednesdays. And thanks to Jimmy Snow, I now have a brand new microphone.
Ooh.
And the camera I'm using, hello, he sent me. So I'm going to be starting a podcast with my mom because he sent one for each of us.
We love D.
I
mean, D is her mom's name, not
D is my mom.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. I do have a YouTube channel, but there's nothing on it, but you can subscribe because we are going to get that up and going. And also you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff. So yeah, we want to thank our patrons.
Yes, we do.
So, I'll do that. So sorry, I'm so distracted. I had a lot of fun. Thank you to our patrons, Eric Ozels, Tara S., Rion, Deneen Murphy, my mom, Dan D., Michael Wiseman, Kathy Cotton, Cindy Plaza, Sunny Shell, Aaron Coalson, and Phil Calderone. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we have shows throughout the week. Secular Soapbox on Wednesdays, The Bible Says What, The Sunny Spot, The Global Atheists, and Women Atheists Unload. And our new show, Let's Talk, on Sunday night. It's a call-in show.
Which is a call-in show, yep.
Yes, so we have lots of fun stuff going on. So thank you again, Owen, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and next Wednesday, we have another ex-Jehovah's Witness coming on, Skeptics and Scoundrels. So you don't want to miss that. It'll
exciting.
Be a lot of fun.
That sounds
interesting.
interesting.
I know. We're going to talk about, he's been doing a lot of shows on demons. And when I saw that, I was like, hey, we need to talk because I have a lot to say about that too. So that'll be next Wednesday. So anyways, thank you everyone for being in the chat, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.